So my last Every Ride Carry video was back in 2021 and I was actually super stoked about that kit. So much so that now in 2023 I have swapped every single piece. Well, except for this one. Don't worry, my little friend. I won't abandon you, probably. So I've been slightly obsessed about those bonus grams, you know, the gram that actually doesn't count towards the bike weight. And with this kit, I definitely shade off quite a substantial amount of weight without losing any of the functionality, which is, yeah, the best type of weight saving. In addition to that though, I definitely slimmed the whole kit down and it just looks a lot better on the bike, which is never a bad thing. So I will go into every single piece in way too much detail, as you probably figured out already by the length of this video, but you can always use the chapters to skip ahead if you want to skip something. Just a quick reminder though, I don't make these videos to sell you anything. This is just my kit optimized for me, and if anything I just hope this might inspire someone to optimize their own kit. After all, like different bikes and different riding styles, yeah, requires different tools. But anyway, let's dig into this. So let's start with the saddlebag itself. While I'm not sponsored in any way, I will admit I'm extremely biased. The saddlebag is made by my very good friend who runs the Mori bike accessory brand. And if you've seen my Every Ride Carry video from a few years ago, you might remember the prototype bag I had him make after my own nerdy needs. That bag never made it to a release ready product though, and since my spares and my tools has slimmed down a lot now, we started working on this TPU Nano bag, making it even slimmer and lighter, sizing it with TPU tubes in mind, as well as making sure it's tall enough for Dyneema plugs and the multi-tool I have. The bag is made out of Dyneema of course, and this prototype came in at 21.8 grams including the strap. As mentioned, the bag is based around having TPU tubes as spares rather than the old massive butyl tubes. My tube here is the Ride Now 34 gram tube, but I also use cyclamino tubes as spares. I particularly like the cyclamino since the valve stem is threaded, and having that valve stem nut tightened down on the rim is a small insurance against breaking the valve stem when working that mini pump like an excited rabbit out on the road. So why not save even more grams and go for the 24 gram or even the 19 gram TPU tubes? Well, since I'm running tubeless, the puncture would have to be pretty severe if I needed to put a tube in, something like a sidewall slice or other big tire failure that a plug couldn't fix. And if that's the case, I'd rather not use the most delicate tube to get me home. So for the purpose of a spare tube, the thicker 34 gram tube is a safer bet in my opinion. I can fit even bigger TPU tubes in this bag though, like this Aerothon, well, the Schwalbe tube for example, or a big old gravel TPU like this one. I think it's made for a 38mm tire, no problem. The primary puncture repair isn't the TPU tube, but rather a tubeless plug, specifically the Dyneema plug. It's simply the easiest and fastest plug solution out there in my opinion. I had the Dyneema plug in my last kit as well, but now I have upgraded that to the Dyneema plug Carbon Racer from the standard Racer because weight saving. It's massive. I mean, look at this. It's money well spent. I think you all agree. I could probably save a few more grams with the shorter road plugs that's available now, but that's future goals, I guess. As you can see, the saddlebag is just the right depth for the Dyneema plug Racer. The old bag was just a tad bit short in this regard. The biggest change to my kit since the last video though is the new multi-tool. This is the Daysaver Essential 8 together with the Co-working 5. Starting with the Essential 8, as the name suggests, it's 8 different tools in an L-shaped handle. Simply put, it's nested reversible bits held in place by magnets and covers hex sizes from 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.5 and 2mm, as well as a Torx T25. The lightweight of the tool doesn't really matter much if it doesn't have the tools I need, and me not really thinking longer than my nose, which is pretty long to be fair, I originally thought I could just supplement the tool with standard bits to get all the tools I needed. These are not standard sized bits however, as I soon found out, and it made sense when I thought about it. A standard sized bit inside that 8mm hex tool would make the wall thickness so thin it would be pretty much unusable. Luckily though, the smaller nested bits are 4mm, and this bit size is actually what you can find in many small electronic service toolkits. You know, those made for repairing computers and phones and stuff like that. So in my case I could supplement the bits that came with the tool with a T20 and a T15 that's needed for my cockpit and my current extra light stem. Having to straighten my handlebars or adjust my headset preload on the spot after traveling with the bike on a train, for example, has happened to be on multiple occasions, so it's a requirement for me. I know I could probably cut them down by at least half and save, well, half the weight. But yeah, the extra bit goes in my quick patch sleeve like this. For the record, the Essential 8 is 31.5 grams alone and 36.7 with my extra 2 bits. The other part of the multi-tool, the Co-working 5, will act as a cradle for the Essential 8. It also gives me 5 extra functions. The obvious ones are the tire lever, the magnetic holder for a set of quick links, and of course the chain breaker tool. Just a quick tip, I always try out the tools at home just to avoid any nasty surprises out on the road. This is the version 1 of the Co-working 5, so the chain tool uses a 3mm hex key to break the chain. The new and the current version of this uses a T25 and has improved thread dimensions, it seems. I have not had any issues with mine yet though, so yeah. The fourth function is a spoke key for standard sized nipples like the Sapine for example. Now the fifth function, I actually didn't know about this when I originally recorded these clips. I thought it was just a cradle function, so to speak. But there's actually a valve core tool hidden inside. So a little extra clip here. I unscrew the chain tool pin, which lets me slide up and remove the chain tool from the tire lever body. On the inside of the tool there's an oval opening that will fit over a valve stem, making it very easy to remove a valve core. It's very smart, and apparently too smart for me. Maybe I shouldn't ignore the instruction next time. Yeah. Just to illustrate the space saving and the weight saving for that matter, this tool has replaced all of this from my old kit. For reference, that was 138 grams all in, and the new Day Saver kit is 68 grams, so just about half the weight, but more than the weight, space saving is what I'm most delighted about. I have always in the past stayed away from bits-based tools in my spares kit, trying to reduce the amount of small parts as much as possible. Hence I made my own custom folding tool a few years back. But this is just too much of a weight saving and space saving. I simply couldn't resist. Nothing lost yet out on the road, fingers crossed that won't change. Just to cover that little quick patch sleeve I briefly showed before, apart from the extra Torx bits, I have this totally useless valve core tool that I have now disregarded. Yeah. I have this little metal cleaning, filing thingamajig, and 2 types of quick patches. The black ones are the standard butyl quick patches, and the clear ones are for TPU tubes that comes with the cyclamino tubes. The black ones will not work on TPU tubes of course, but they can act as a little extra protection over a big tire cut from the inside, or to help keep a makeshift tire boot in place for example. 12 grams of a little extra help in the absolute worst case scenario. For me, it's peace of mind. And since it's such a slim addition, it barely takes up any space. If anything, it works as a shield between the multi-tool and the tube. And that's all that goes into the saddlebag. But I have this mini pump left. Awkward. It's the same Lesign Pocket Dry Pro as I used in my old kit. The only thing I added to it is a short section of an old butyl inner tube, which adds a bit of weather protection. When it's time to use, I simply fold the tube down and start pumping, and while unintentional, it does provide some extra grip as well. And when the tube is folded back down, it keeps the pump from sliding open. Another extra bonus. If you've seen the old video, you might remember that the old saddle bag folded around the pump. The new bag is way too small for that. I did experiment a few months in the beginning with the DIY solution for having the pump tethered to the bag like this, which works fine to be fair, but it kind of defeats the point of having such a slim and almost invisible saddlebag. So in the end I gave in. I added 12 grams of extra weight to the frame by using the pump holder attached to the down tube. Maybe something lighter 3D printed is possible in the future, who knows. Anyway, that's my full basic every ride carry kit. All in all 239 grams for something I feel will get me home in all but the most extreme situations. Which brings me to why I use a mini pump instead of a CO2, and that is redundancy. Since I don't just ride laps in my local park, I need redundancy. Out in the Japanese mountains there's not much help to get, especially since I ride a lot alone. Phone reception in the remote mountains is non-existent a lot of the times, and even if I had reception, I don't have any close family in Japan I can casually call to drive 100k out to nowhere just to save my ass. Absolutely last resort for me is my bike insurance that have a pickup service, but for me I really prefer to be able to take care of myself. That said though, this kit can definitely be tweaked for CO2. As you can see here, I can easily swap the pump for a CO2 and a CO2 valve. This Nano air booster is a really nice and small from Topeak. It only adds about 10 grams. And I can fit that and a CO2 cartridge in the bag together with the rest of my kit. Slightly bulkier of course, but on the other hand I have a 213 gram complete kit in one single bag. Not bad at all. For me though, that extra CO2 space I use for something else from time to time, and that's for my really long solo rides when I do say over 250k, especially where I know I'll be on roads less traveled. I tend to pack an extra tube, which this bag can accommodate as well with some Tetris puzzle magic. In that case, my kit is up to 275 grams with the mini pump. So sub 300 grams with 2 spare tubes, I call that pretty acceptable. I was out on a ride today and I was hoping to get this older so I can just show you how easy you could just wipe this off with a cloth, but it's not dirty enough for that, I guess. Anyway, this is the full kit and I'm just as proud of this as I was 2 years ago for my old kit. So I wonder what it will look like in 2 years' time. Time will tell, I guess. If the world still stands. Quick note about the saddlebag, this was the prototype, but this will actually be ready for sale. My mate is doing some final tweaks and he hopes to have this on sale on a drop around late November, I think. So if you're interested, I suggest you follow Mori on Instagram to get all the latest details when the actual drop will happen. And again, I'm not sponsored. I don't get any kickback from the sales. He is a very good friend of mine, so I'm definitely biased in that way. But yeah, I don't get anything and I will buy the actual final bag myself for full price. Even though he probably wants to give me one for free, I will insist because I'm a friend. I might have him like buy me a bag of Haribo next time we have a chance to ride together. So drink safe and ride water. You know what I mean. Peace. And seriously, peace.